There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, this is Rex.
And I'm Zach. We're from Uncured.
And you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, welcome back Zach and Rex of Uncured, and they have a new EP entitled My Design, which is slated for release in the summer of June of 2023 via Payment Entertainment. Also, check out debut single, Let's Break Out. Also, Uncured will be touring and promoting My Design, which will include performances at the Welcome to Rockville Festival in Florida. That's coming up in May, the Download Festival in the UK, and that's very, very huge for you gentlemen. Very proud of you. That's awesome to accomplish because that's a very hard bill to get on, I think. And the Incarceration Festival in Ohio, that's in July. And they should be on Blue Ridge Rock Festival, so let's push that a little bit. So
that'd be fantastic.
So.
We're glad to be here. I'm Zach. This is Rex. We're Uncured, and thank you for speaking with us.
Yeah, Bod, thank you so much. So we were just talking before this how we actually did an interview 5 years ago,
yes,
on BODS Mayhem Hour with the Bodfather, John Jovi. Wow, can't speak. But thank you so much for having us. We're very excited to be back.
So how you guys been doing? And like you just said, I last interviewed you on the podcast back in 2017 for the album Medusa, which was named one of the 10 best metal albums in 2017 via Access.com. So how cool was that to have that album come out and then be one of the top 10 albums in 2017?
It was a pretty great achievement for our first release as a band, first full record release. And I think that, as musicians and artists over the course of our next couple releases, we continued to improve on things that worked and like refine our sound further. And, 5 or 6 years later, we're just now putting out this EP, My Design, which is definitely our best work so far. So if anybody's been following us, I can't wait for you to hear where we are right now.
What's the nucleus that still keeps this band together and moving right along and not giving up? Because the past few years, and you guys know this just as well as I do, it had to be very frustrating for young bands and everyone in general just to make everyday life to be normal.
I was thinking mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. But what drives us is just
the biology podcast is later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But our collective love for music and playing shows, I think that's pretty clearly the driving force that keeps us motivated, determined, and most importantly, disciplined throughout the course of all of it. Because, it doesn't matter if you want to do something or not. If you're disciplined, you're going to do it anyway. So, we keep pushing forward and refuse to let anything stop us.
What has working with Payment Entertainment done for this band that made you say, yeah, we need to sign with Payment Entertainment?
We just started working with them, I believe at this point, maybe a couple months ago, planning this whole release and all that. So since we just released the first song, we're really excited to be working with them because we know they're passionate about it and they're here to support us. And we've already, in just less than a week of release, we've already seen a lot of good stats. The song's getting a lot of reception. A lot of people are telling us they're loving it. We're getting interviews. And they're doing a great job getting the song out there to all of their channels. And they believe in us. And it's great working with them. Because we're going to we're going to put out all the content they need, and they're going to, we're working together with them, and it's a great start.
Yeah, they worked with a band called Plush, and we were, we really love watching kind of how those two work together, and how invested they are in developing that young band, and they have that same level of investment in developing us. So we just think it's a great partnership, and very excited to continue it into the future.
Speaking of, let's break out. Let's talk about the reception that you guys are getting. Do you like seeing all this good positivity coming back? And I know sometimes there's a little negativity, but do you like seeing that also? Like trim this here. There's too much of this. Do you like that? And do you ever take that in consideration or no?
I like getting comments back because that means that we've captured people's attention and their time. So, obviously we prefer this song is so great, you guys are amazing. But at the same time, if the comment is I hate these guys and anything like that, I appreciate that too, because you're taking time out of your day to interact with us. And I think while I don't agree with all press is good press, I just think that it's good to have people talking about us. So, I appreciate everybody's input, and I'm sure you feel the same.
Oh yeah.
How much was written for this EP, guys, and how much was thrown out or just started writing fresh? Or did you have any left in the vault that you guys said, let's use this too?
So this EP, we actually considered making a full album, but we decided to trim back any song that we did not think was the absolute best we could do. So we decided to release 7 songs on the physical EP and 6 songs on the digital EP, 6 original on the physical, and then the 7th one is a cover. And I think that there was a lot that was thrown out, and it's a pretty important part of the process because, nobody bats 1,000. So you have to accept that and write more songs than will ever see the light of day.
So I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here just a little bit, and I hope you guys don't go to get mad at me, but I've seen the track listing for this. And did you guys do the cover for Linkin Park? One Step Closer?
That's correct. One step closer.
Oh, my God. I cannot wait to hear this.
One of the most iconic songs probably of all time, I would say. One of the most iconic lines, too. Shut up when I'm trying to So anyway, we have this joke where we've been saying that lyric wrong, and I just got confused that time through. But obviously, the iconic lyric is "Shut up when I'm talking to you." So yeah, that was just a minor slip up. But no, like I said, one of the most iconic songs, and covering a Linkin Park song, there's a lot of pressure on getting the vocals right, getting that kind of like lower, very crisp range, the high distortion range, and then of course like that iconic screaming. So it was a really fun challenge, and I can't wait for you to hear that, because that one we're going to be playing live, and it's going to be really awesome to hear everybody scream "Shut up!" So yeah.
So was there an intention to do a cover, or did it just come out of nowhere?
So we have 5 covers already released on Spotify. We've done Roots Bloody Roots when we went to South America. And now, depending on our set length, if it's 30 or 45, and now the way that it's shaping up, we decided we'd want a cover in the set list. So that's why we decided to go ahead, record the cover. So we wanted to play it live, so now people could also hear it online before and after the show.
I know you talked about this just a little bit ago, but why go the EP route and not just release the full length? I mean, you had just about enough to do a full length. You had 7 tracks on this one. So what, 10, 11 makes a full length usually?
We had 9 or 10, I think, and there were some more new ones that were being written that we could have finished up to, make this an EP. But the LP. But the thought was to, kind of separate out where things were and where things are going. So a lot of the stuff that was being written, we said let's use this on the next record, and basically, like I said before, just take off any song that's not our absolute best work. So I don't personally feel like there's a loss because we cut 3, 4, 5 songs that weren't quite as strong as the rest on this album. I actually feel pretty good about that. Because it just makes me feel super confident that the work we're putting out is 100% top tier in our opinion. And actually, I was the one that was primarily pushing for this to be a full album, and we just signed with a new management company, and they gave us the strong advice not to. And even though we can be quite bullish and strong-headed, they have not steered us wrong whatsoever. They give great advice, and we trust them completely. So we just signed with Hard and Burke Management, and I'm very glad that we're working with them, and we trusted them on this decision.
Right. And also with just the one other thing, like we want people to leave wanting more from us and not be like, oh, they released 14 songs, this is a ton. We just a little bit give them a taste of what our new sound and direction is, so they're excited for even more.
And I'll even say on this point, I remember when two bands that I liked that both put out releases the same week, I liked the bands equally. One of them was a full record and one of them was an EP. And I remember I was thinking like, oh, I can't wait to hear these new releases. But when they finally came out, I clicked the EP first and I was like, oh, I'll save the record for later since there's more songs on it. I want to digest it properly. And it took me a full week to get to that record, whereas I'd already listened to the EP like 4 or 5 times. So I just think that there is something about it being shorter. It's more immediate. You can really get to know each of the songs better, quicker. And I think that it makes a lot of sense for where we are right now to do that.
You know, I'm a full-length guy, and I've said that since day one, but it's kind of like you have to be right on that edge. You have to teeter-totters, I should say. You know, it's like some like the EPs, some like the full-length route. But EPs are the way these days because everybody's attention span's like 2 seconds, and then they're done. And it's sad, but hey, if that gets you the views and spins and stuff like that, go for it. I mean, knock it out. So,
and I mean, the new kind of format is to even just do as many singles as you possibly can. So, like, Falling Universe hasn't released an album in a long time, but they keep putting out singles, and then after they've released 5 singles, they wrap it up into an EP, and like, you know, as far as numbers go, it makes a lot of sense. So, while I do agree that from like an artistry perspective, it's a lot more appreciated to have a full record. I guess nowadays that's not necessarily the smartest move either.
What led the track "Let's Break Out" to be the first song released off of this EP, guys? What was it about it that said that has to be the one going out first? Let's go. So
we had a little slogan that we kept in mind when we were writing this EP, and it was hits, ballads, and bangers. So we wanted each song to have like a specific purpose and an energy and a story associated with it. And Let's Break Out is definitely the most accessible, like straight down the middle active rock song. So we thought that it made the most sense to push that one first. And also, you know, metaphorically, Let's Break Out. We're thinking that this song is going to do pretty well. It's already charting on the SMR charts. Number 2 in the last couple weeks of most added song, but already in the top 50. So we just thought that this was the perfect song to push first. And a lot of more very different songs coming as well.
Was there a track that you were working on that totally ended up sounding different than was intended to when it was first brought to the table, guys?
Let's Break Out was originally called Dance in Flames. It had a completely different chorus, different structure. It had just like a few parts that were the same, like the verse was the same, but we changed so much else around it. So what it was originally, and we thought it was going to be that as the final, but then we realized the chorus needed like a rewrite because it would just benefit from it. And we're so happy that we did that because now it's just more catchy and more engaging.
Actually, so the long scream in this song, I tracked on 4 different variations of lyrics. And this the one that actually got released is the last one that we tracked. So I remember tracking like 3 or 4 different versions of the chorus, multiple variations of the verses with different lyrics and stuff. And, you know, the main bridge section, the I'm crazy, and then the don't let me go. Like that was tracked, I think, 4 different sets of lyrics. And like Zach said, I'm happy that we ended up with the one we did. And I mean, some of the other songs on this album, I know, for example, the number 2 track, Another Angel Dies, I tracked the chorus for that like 4 or 5 times. Different nights, I just kept going back to it because I was like, this is not perfect, and I want it to be perfect. So I think that we have a healthy level of maybe slightly past healthy level of obsession in this band. obsession for perfection. But I think it's one of our strengths, and we try to play into that.
Any track standing out more to you than any right now on this EP? I know these are your babies. I understand that, but are there any that stick out for the both of you possibly?
My favorite is Another Angel Dies. I think it's the best lyric writing, best story, most emotional, most vulnerable, and most almost powerful song.
And I would say mine is probably Fight This War. We also have a music video for that one. We saw a rough draft of it today, still not done yet, but it's going to be fantastic. We're so stoked about it. It's I will say it's a very heavy song because people missed a lot of our heavy stuff, but it has a quite a catchy chorus, so it's like a good mix of the two
and that
genres.
That one's pretty guitar heavy too.
Yes, a lot of guitar solos.
Was the track listing placement important for the EP, guys, for you?
Yes. Yeah, that's one of those things that a lot of people, I think, leave as an afterthought. But
what, the order?
Yeah, the order.
Got it.
But it's one of those things that I can't help but thinking about as songs are being written. Like sometimes I'll say, "Oh, this sounds like an album 7 track," and what I mean by that is it's pretty good, but it's not like the type of song you'd want to push. So we think about that all the time, and actually, I don't. After saying that though, I don't remember what's second or third because I know that we're releasing songs in a different order than on the record. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. The order is Let's Break Out, Followed You Home.
I am not certain what.
Are you looking at it there, Bod?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Followed You Home will be second. Another Angel Dies third. Fight This War. And then since we don't have 5 years, it would go to My Heart Is Bleeding and then One Step Closer.
Then 5 years.
And then 5 years is a bonus track on the physical
right,
CD.
yes.
So you can only get that at shows or in stores once the album comes out.
I feel like when bands are putting albums out, there's that one track that's like the bridge between the first part, then you're going to the second part, if that makes sense.
I think Fight This War is kind of our middle track because it's the fastest and the heaviest.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if people really think about like tempos of songs, but that's something I'm pretty aware of. Like the first, that's the fastest song tempo wise, because I mean, Let's Break Out is technically 200 or up in the 200 range, but it feels like halftime. It's not. Whereas Fight This War is a very fast. So I think that's, in my opinion, like the song that kind of separates the ones around it. Do you agree with that? Or
well, if you're talking about the first half from the second half of the album, I wouldn't say it's like the first half is like it's not like all the songs sound different in their own way, and it's not like the first half is different from the second, but I would say every song is unique and has its own place on the album, and none of them sound the same. None of them are formulaic or anything.
Yeah. That is something that we pay attention to a lot. We don't ever want two of our songs to sound the same. Like we've listened to some bands' entire albums together, and I would just genuinely get confused. I was like, oh, I thought we already heard the song. Because, you sometimes like your track 3 and your track 7 are like the exact same song with a slightly different like ending to the chorus. And I think that's becoming something that's sort of commonplace now because bands are turning out a lot of music. So I think that's something that obviously is an eventuality if you're releasing a ton of songs, but we're very, very cautious to never have one of our songs sound like another. And the only time where I'd say that we do that in some sense is the solos, but I like that because you can tell, oh, that's an Uncured solo. So I like that.
Yeah, and I feel like every band's got their signature sound, if that makes sense. You know who's on the guitar just about. If you follow a band long enough, you'll understand that. But yeah, I agree with you. That totally. What's the growth musically you've seen from yourselves working on this EP compared to 2017's album Medusa? What's the growth you've seen that's kind of surprised you guys, possibly, if anything?
I think when we were doing music, probably kind of prior to this EP, we had more. Well, I personally had more doubt of like what the song should sound like, who we are as artists and stuff like that. Whereas now I'm pretty steadfast in like how we should sound, what I want the lyrics to be, what message we want to push, and the fact that we can just essentially make whatever music we choose to. And then it all just comes down to the artistry. So there's not like any other elements that are forcing us or pushing us in any direction. It's simply just we want to make great songs, and we have the leeway to do essentially to make that happen in any way that we want to.
Who produced this EP, guys?
We did. Self-produced. So we have been working with Conclave Studios for a long time, and that's actually just, in our house because it used to be a different physical location, and now everything is done in like a little 6x6 square area of space. So I don't know if you've seen the Living Like I'm Dead music video on YouTube, but that was filmed in that studio. And basically everything, guitar, vocals, bass, layers, synths, everything is played in the exact same little spot, recorded through a Claret into Pro Tools. And then, we got our plugins cooking and all that stuff.
So do you like having that freedom of just being able to record when you want to and taking your time to make sure it gets done the right way, the Uncured way? Oh, absolutely. And, like I said, sometimes I just can't help myself from redoing something. Yeah. Even to the point where everybody else would be like, no, Rex, you don't need to redo it. It sounds good. We like it as it is. I'm like, I don't have a choice in the matter. I can't stop myself. I have to track it again. So I remember there are just some parts where I've spent an unhealthy amount of time on. And I think most people probably wouldn't hear the difference between the first version and the sixth version of it, but I can't stop myself. What do you guys hope everyone takes away while listening to these new songs or just Uncured's music in general? What do you hope they get from the guys when they start listening to it?
Well, we do want, obviously, people to, after even the first time they hear one of our songs, like to have some part be memorable and stick out, whether it's the chorus, the guitar solo, the riffs, lyrics, the story. We want the song to be memorable first time. And that's what we really try for with every song. And we want people to feel a connection to the song and like it enough to come want to see us in concert, because that's what, as we said, is our favorite thing, being out on tour, playing shows and meeting people at shows. So we want the song to speak to people, help them become fans in the band, remember the songs, and then want to come see us.
I want to step back here for just a minute, and I apologize. I totally meant to ask this, but being brothers, how well do you guys work together when you're working on music, or do you have those times where you just want to strangle each other?
I actually, when I pulled up our interview from 5 years ago, you asked the same question. And
what did you say back then?
I said, I hate this guy. No, we're gonna give the same answer, which is, we have each have our own strengths. We each play into those strengths, and we work together great, I think. So divide and conquer, right, and get stuff done. Right. I was gonna say,
and there's we never have any moments of wanting to strangle each other, So I mean, that has not been something that's we've never had any issues like that. We always work together very well. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
What show have you guys done that you actually had to win the crowd over, if any possibly? Have you ever had that to happen to you guys and thought, oh man, I don't know how good this is going to go?
We've been playing for over 5 years, and we've played to big audiences, small audiences, and people in between. Yeah, all like from no country. I mean, from countries we've never been to before. So we always, and since we're a newer band, sometimes the audience doesn't know you beforehand. But usually, whenever there's a large audience, it's definitely always easier because you could just you perform more energetically. And
I would say we give the same performance every night. And then there's just other factors that can contribute to that as well. So like it's a lot easier to interact with the crowd when there's 1,000 people there, as opposed to if there's, some shows in the early days where there would have been 5 people.
Yeah.
I would have said 10.
Well, yeah, but like, for example, we have this thing now, since our last couple tours have been great as far as attendance. So we've had this thing where it's like left side, and you do that classic right side, and everybody. If you can count the amount of people in the audience, that doesn't really work.
Yeah.
So like, since we have our set structured in a very grandiose kind of way, just a bigger crowd makes for those things to go a little bit more smoothly. But I guess I kind of think that even if people are already fans, like, you don't need to win them over, but you need to give them what they're expecting and more. So we really strive to improve our performance every single time we play a show. And as part of that, we talked about this a little bit in a previous interview. We have a post-show ritual where every single night we'll say, what's one thing you did well, one thing you could have done better, and then comments for one other person. So we'll grade ourselves out of 10. Like, tonight, my singing accuracy was a 6, but my physical performance was a 9 out of 10. So like those types of things, everybody will go around, and then, we try to just get incrementally better every single time we play, and then hundreds of shows later, that's a very huge difference.
Right. And a lot of times we also watch back video footage of our shows, whether we took it or it's just fan videos. And it's like like we're a pro sports team. It's like you got to watch the post game, you got to watch the tapes, and see like what sounds, if anything doesn't sound right, or if someone messed up, you got to point that out, or how we look visually, and if we're all in sync, or if someone's like doing their own thing, just like in the like not synced up with the other guys. So it's not just about how we played, it's also about how we all look up there together.
Right. Everything needs to fit together, because it's not about one specific performance. It's about the entire show of what the 4 of us are making together.
If you could be a member in an iconic band and play one of their legendary shows, which band would it be, and what show possibly?
Well, I mean, it'd be hard to argue with, Queen at Wembley
That's
Stadium.
what I was going to say. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
We used to watch that DVD. It was a DVD back in the day in the car. And, that's obviously Wembley's one of the most famous stadiums for sports, music.
Probably also one of the most iconic concerts ever, of all time. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Not to mention Freddie Mercury climbing up the scaffolding.
True.
I'm sure you would do that too.
Yeah, I'd probably fall though.
But that's you can't argue with that one.
Yeah.
My last question here. How excited are you guys to play Welcome to Rockville Festival? You've got Download Festival, which is huge, Incarceration, and hopefully get you guys on the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. How excited are you to hit these festivals this year's coming up?
We are stoked. First of all, I didn't know Download was announced yet, so you got
I gotta check.
You got the inside scoop, right?
That's what I saw. That was it to me.
Did they? Wow,
Let's see.
Download 2023.
That just says Download 20. DL20. Oh, maybe it's. But
I
that's
don't
from
know.
Last year.
Yeah, well, you are correct in that.
I don't think it is announced.
We had an interview the other day, and we didn't tell the interviewer because I thought we weren't supposed to. But you got the inside scoop, and we are completely stoked about that. Download. We've only been to UK before when we played Bloodstock, but Download is like the biggest, most iconic festival pretty much there is. I mean, from what I've heard in Europe. So that will be quite amazing. And then 2 in the U.S. We're going to have U.S. tour dates around those festivals as well. And we just can't wait to play our new songs out on those big stages outside.
Yeah. Folks, you want to get out and pick up Uncured's new EP entitled My Design. It's coming out in June this year via Pavement Entertainment. I have followed these guys ever since 2017's interview. I'm very, very happy with the way they promote themselves, their presence, their stage presence, everything about them, and they've not given up. So how could folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this new album, all this stuff Uncured wise? How can they do that, guys?
So the best way to help us is by streaming Uncured on Spotify, and our new song "Let's Break Out." Add it to your playlists, send it to your friends, and you could keep in touch with us and stay up to date on our Instagram at Uncured Band, as well as Uncured on Facebook. We're very active. We have lots of videos, lots of photos, multiple posts a week with new song updates, and we reply to messages and comments. So hit us up there, Uncured Band.
And before I let you guys go, would you care to do another promo for my show?
Of course, yes.
Hey, this is Rex.
And I'm Zach. We're from Uncured.
And you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. If you like what I do, please go out and check out my Facebook page and subscribe to the YouTube page also. BODS Mayhem Hour, just click the subscription button and please give me a follow. I would tremendously appreciate it. And also, please go out and check out Uncured. Subscribe to these guys, what they got going on Spotify, help them out, YouTube, all that good stuff, and pick up their EP entitled My Design. It comes out in June of 2023 via Payment Entertainment. And Medusa, they've got some other stuff that they may be releasing here later, hopefully. But they have some other singles that's out there as well. Check all that out. And especially Let's Break Out. Check out that single. So, guys, very proud of you all, and thank you for coming back on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.